afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone. How are you, Sis Paula?
We are great, my dear. Looking forward for this day.
That is wonderful. I'm trying to get Usibusiso to talk. I don't know. He didn't join with the audio or video. I guess he's trying to record. Okay. We've got quite a bit of questions, and people have sent the questions, but because we also record, they might not come through for their recordings. So they will then get them on YouTube, and we will email them based on the people that have registered. Okay, so Sis Paula, how has your strategy document, how is it going?
I think in the beginning I battled between where do I stand in terms of which cap specifically I'm going to wear on this platform. But finally I made the decision that I'll wear the student accommodation one. So it settled with me. Then yes, now I'll know what I need to do. So in terms of your question, you said what is the strategy I'm going to use? What is the question again?
I wanted to know what's the progress you have made towards you working on your strategy for your student accommodation.
Okay, no, I think my okay, let me start back because I battled for a decision, but finally is done. My strategy, as is indicated in the email that I did send you, in terms of my vision and my mission and the strategy for growth, my strategy for growth. I'm planning to grow by 10% each year in terms of reinvesting the money back into the business, even if I build 2 rooms or etc. But above that, also if growing big in terms of buying another property, even if it's not in the same yard, though I have a big yard within. So if I grow within, it saves me a lot of money of going to pay tax and rates somewhere. Yeah, so my plan is making use of the space that I currently have by growing, even if it's 10% to 30% growth in terms of building extra rooms. Yeah,
okay.
That's what I
okay. With. So first of all, in your key performance indicators, it seems like you already know that you're gonna count it by the number of rooms that you're actually gonna build. So when you are actually setting up your one pager based on the balance scorecard, you're gonna need to use the number of houses, but also the number of rooms. You're also gonna ask yourself, am I making more money when I have a one room that students are sharing, or am I making more money when students are actually separate? They each have their room, because it's about optimizing the space and making sure you get the maximum money for your assets. So I really need you to think about that. But you also want to ask yourself, in the student accommodation, who's your target customer in relation to the student? Are you looking for the first years, or are you looking for the second years? Are you looking at for the third years? Are you looking for PhD? Because if that's the case, you're gonna need to understand, if they're at a higher level than third years, having individual rooms is more suitable for those students. But maybe people up to the second year, they can share. So those are the things you're gonna need to think about. So I really need you, I need you to stay away thinking that your client is NEFTAS, or what is it called?
NSFAS.
NSFAS. Yes. That's not your client. That's not your client. That is your consumer is the person that you need to satisfy the need so that they do not move, so that they are happy to stay. Welcome, everyone. People are attending quite late. Come on, guys. You know we always start on time. Just type your questions. We are dealing with some of the questions. So the questions that Usis Paula had sent, I'm going to read them through. Oh, Bonolo, would you please share them on the screen? So, Sisi, the next part is that when you are clear about what your customer actually really need or what's the shortage, and also speak to the university that you are dealing with, ask them where are their biggest shortage. Don't build the more rooms that are not necessarily what they require the most, so that you can actually have a quicker, lesser occupancy time, and also you make sure you're building what they actually need.
Can I come in just there?
Yes.
Yeah. Regarding my target market, whether first year or PhD, already last time I indicated that I made use of the COVID break, lockdown break, to now the sharing rooms that I had, to divide them into single room based on thinking that, because now I'm thinking after COVID, especially Northwest, it's very, very strict when coming to being accredited or being through the process, because they do come, the management do come and visit our facilities and they need to accredit you. So last year they came, so this year I was accredited. So thinking that because of the social distancing and etc., I just felt like each and every individual would love to stay in his or her own room. So now I have done that. It's single rooms. So, but when coming to who is my, yeah.
But hang on, think about what I was raising. Your aim is to get the maximum return. You would rather have preventative controls for the students that are sharing, as long as it meets the requirements of the university. You want to make sure that your 100 Rand that you are is the maximum 100 Rand that you can generate. But I also want to talk to you about what you mentioned earlier when you said you're gonna actually grow by 10%. Sis Paula, 10% is even below our average inflation rate. Our inflation rate is averaging about, I think, about between 7 and 8%. So if you're gonna grow by 10%, already minus inflation, you're already at 3% deficit, basically. So I think you're undermining your capability. I think it's also because you are not focused. I think me and you need to have some clear, maybe we need to work out a private session where we said, because you gotta need to have an aggressive growth for you to make a serious money and really focus on it. I think the beauty business is pulling you on the other side because you love it, but you have focused, or you wanted to build this because you knew this will generate passive income as per our training 2 years ago. So let's have that private session. But I want you to be aggressive in your growth. I want you to start looking at the go to department website, Department of Higher Education. Find out which provinces are they going to build more universities and which universities have shortage. Do your proper market research so that it then informs you of where you're going to grow to, so that you're going to have a better growth rate than this. With your energy and your effort and your paying attention to detail, there's nothing stopping you to grow at 100% on 100-year basis. Nothing.
Okay.
That will stop you.
Okay, ma. Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing.
I hear you.
Guys, I haven't seen the questions. I see my mentor is here. and my old friend, Sis Adelaide is here from UJ. My mentor, Sis Zanele Klaba is here. Okay, there's lots of people today. Guys, please knock on your questions. I'm gonna go through the ones that were emailed to me. So if I have not covered anything, please let me know. I see Kakeko is here, and I see other people. Nirupa is also here, and Sbusis. Sbusis is still not audible, but let us know, Sbusis, if you need any support and help. Just always, guys, check your device before you get in, because sometimes Zoom and your devices may not be talking to each other. Sis Adi, how are you? You want to greet everyone? Yes, go on.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I was just thinking before you allow Sis Paula to leave, I have a question for her to think about if she doesn't want to answer it now. I just picked up from the one sentence that it sounds like she has a second business running. And I was wondering if maybe the lack of focus on this accommodation business is not because the strategies are maybe overlapping and cross-subsidizing each other. Because then it would also be difficult for her to measure her growth levels over a period of time in either of the businesses. So that is also sometimes where we get stuck, unless it's clearly defined that would be part of the strategy, and it would facilitate and help with the growth of the second business. But I was just wondering if that was a consideration.
Sis Paula, please answer.
Thank you for having listened to me. I truly appreciate that. Let me say the student accommodation based on the demand and the need. And what I can say about this industry is that we are never, it's forever overflowing. And you need to know how many students per year. I'm turning them away because I'll say I'm fully booked. And with the facility that I have, even if today you visit my Facebook page and the students like where I am, I mean the accommodation I am providing based on the specific tailor-made. For example, I'm offering singles and suite and executive. Executive meaning the bathroom, your kitchen within. But also, and then the other thing is that the NSFAS, though Os Precious is saying something, they are reliable clients for me. Irrespective of lockdown, they have been paying. But that is not my passion. But it's a business that it's making me rest and being assured that money is coming. But it's not my aha purpose and calling. I would love and appreciate to be a public speaker and a coach using my experience of my entrepreneurial journey. And Os Precious knows that I started my entrepreneurial journey in 1983. And up to today, I just want to give back and use some of my pain to help others. That's me. I would have said how would I be remembered? By impacting and unlocking the potential within. And that will be the most pleasurable thing for me.
So
thank you very much.
Thanks, Adi. Are you answered?
I think I'm answered sort of indirectly. Okay. But I understand that there are two streams of passion flowing through, one much stronger than the other.
Yeah, the other
I think in your one-on-one session, you'll be able to sort that out, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't generate money. So what we should be focusing on is to build up the one that generates money, let it run on its own. Then she can then move and do the other things. But at least that one is sorted. That is why maybe in the next 3, 4, 5 years, that's what she should focus on. Then she will never have to worry about money.
No.
Good point.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let me move to the next person and the next question. Guys, please unmute yourself if you have a question. Thank you so much, Sis Adi. We have a coach, another coach. We have been working with Sis Adelaide since when? Since 2000 and 2000 what? 2000 and
I think 2012 or 13, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's a long time. Ooh, okay. Okay, guys, can you please, I'm gonna read the questions. I've got them on my phone. Please hold 1 second. Bonalo, please, can you share? I'd ask you to share. And I actually did open it on my Word document. So one of the questions that was asked, what do you consider when you conduct a market analysis? Okay, guys, market analysis, when you're doing it, it depends what information or what questions you wanna answer in your market research. And in general, when we look at the market research, we will look at the price, we'll look at the competitors, what are they doing, so that we know how to position ourselves. We will also look at the demand, and we'll also look at the supply. Why do we look at these things? So these things, when we look at the price, you want to make sure that your pricing strategy is not off the market, i.e. you're overpricing or you're underpricing. Because if you're overpricing, no one is going to buy from you. If you underprice, you're underpricing, you're going to run at a loss. So that is why we look at the price. Why do we look at the competitor? We want to actually make sure that we are unique. Our unique selling proposition and our value proposition is actually different to what the market is offering. It's almost like for you to come up with a differentiator in the market, you must know what the next guy is doing. Why do we look to demand and supply? We look to demand and supply at the same time of our product and commodity so that we know how to price correctly. So what does a demand mean? Basically, demand is about how many people are looking to solve that specific problem. Supply, how many people are actually providing that providing a solution to that problem. When the demand is higher, we can increase the price. But when the demand is low, we can't be increasing the price. We should be increasing the value. The supply, when it's high, we should actually be doing what? Reducing the price and adding more value. But when the supply is low, we should be increasing the price and making sure that we can be able to scale. So we need to focus on our methodology and our approach so that we can easily scale. So those are the things that when you are doing the market research, you should actually be looking at. Now, there is a challenge though. Bonolo, on our YouTube, we did a YouTube, I think it was more than 12 months ago, if not 18 months, with a lady which is called Po. Can you please find that YouTube and share it on here on the chat so that everyone can actually go into it? One of the biggest challenges for us as entrepreneurs, the market research is difficult and it's expensive. We don't take enough time to do this analysis, to check the pricing, to check the competitors, to check the demand. I mean, we hear it from the pitching. I think since Adelaide, you remember the pitching. Most entrepreneurs would say, I'm the only one, you know.
That's true.
They will say, I'm the only one who's doing that. I think since Zanele, we had the same thing when we were doing the UJ project.
Yeah.
It's across because you have not done sufficient research to know about the market, to analyze the market. So that I hope is gonna give you to answer the questions. But all I'm trying to say to you, you gotta need to figure out how to shorten this market research. You're gonna need to figure out who are your industry leaders in your environment. Your industry leaders are your best bet for you to find information about your market. And there is another resources. Guys, the consulting firms like Pricewaterhouse, Ernst & Young, Deloitte and Touche, and I think even others, they do these researches and produce this report and executive for free. But when you want the whole thing, in other instances, they are now selling. But if you go to their offices, you can get most of the things that I've just mentioned. When they will call that maybe Outlook. I think there was a link the other day that I thought I was going to share with you guys, which was done by Pricewaterhouse. They do the Outlook for the next 10 years, next 20 years. And guys, you need to read this and understand. If you're in the entertainment industry, read it. You look at the film industry, they do all this research all the time. Those are the things that you would rather take that as your guidance to your market research than you going blank and starting the market research from the onset at the beginning. Take that they have formulated at the Outlook of the world, then bring it home to local and say, what are the things that are affecting us? And then build up. Please, there is Mpo's thing where she articulated how to actually do the market research and what are the things. Another thing that I also did, I have a book. I'm gonna take a picture of it and put it on our group WhatsApp, on our WhatsApp group. It says 10 days work market research, where it tells you step by step what to do. Day 1, day 2, day 3. I love that mini book because it articulates exactly what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. So I hope that is able to answer you guys. If there's anyone who has a follow-up question, please just unmute yourself and do a follow-up questions.
As Precious, you mentioned the resources of 2 companies that share their marketing research links or companies. I just missed their names.
It's Big 4 auditing firms. Big 4 auditing firms, which is EY, Deloitte, Pricewaterhouse. I mean, recently Pricewaterhouse, you can Google them right now and say Pricewaterhouse in Entertainment Outlook. They've just done a report for the next 20 years, what's going to be happening within the entertainment industry. And keep in mind some of the reports, and make sure when you're doing that, also subscribe to that website or to that type of publication so that when they update, they notify you, especially if the report or the research was done before COVID. Be careful, because things before COVID and after COVID could be totally different, okay? Just keep that in mind. And I think there are other research companies. So let me just share. I don't know, are there consultants here? Please say yes on the chat if there is consultants. I will share one of my secrets. Okay, there is no consultants. Okay, fine. I will still share anyway. I don't do the research by looking at what PricewaterhouseCoopers has and what I found a quicker way and a shortest way, which is my hack. What I do when I need to update of what is happening in my industry, which is entrepreneurship, especially within the South African context and also Africa context, I go to the top 3 MBA universities that had run MBA, and I then research that issue and then put the MBA certification, and then I will get the report or the publication of the student that will have done certain reports relating to the issues that I want to address. Because, and for me, that has helped me quite a lot. So I'll look at UCT, I look at UP, I also look at Stellenbosch, and I look at VETS. And because I'm a UJ visiting lecturer there, and I love working with UJ, I also look at UJ. But UJ I have not picked up a lot where I am actually looking at the ones that are focusing on the services. So most of them, they will go generically and say entrepreneurship. They will not necessarily branch out to services. So professional services that are required. So I will then Google and work. And in most instances, I have found so many. And I also keep track of MBA students that are doing entrepreneurship and ask them to come to me when they have questions so that I can help them to craft the right solutions and stuff. So to influence even their thinking of what is happening on the ground. So, and that will then inform them also on how they conclude on matters. So, and for me, that I have found to be the most useful, because I then set up these appointments with these MBA students. They do the research, use my database of entrepreneurship, and after that, I say to them, make sure you table that report with me. So it's give and get. And I hope some of the professionals within our space can use that hack. It has worked very well for me. And it helped.
That's very smart, Precious. Very, very smart of you.
Thank you. It took me a while. It took me a while to get there. It took me a while. So please, if there is other people that have done, another client shared their head on another program. They said they watch their top 5 leaders. The listed companies are your leaders. They actually watch their leaders. They even do RSS feed, or they do Google alerts. They watch their big guys that are listed companies like a hawk. So anything that company will do, they will start reviewing and assessing where they are themselves. So that is hack number 2. The last one, which is difficult to do, and I am doing it now in my business, is to go straight to your ideal client. Say to them, I am conducting a research, and I think there's few trends or development that are happening that I would like to discuss with you. After having gone through your profile and what you have done, I think you can add quite a good value on what. And both of us, I will share what you're doing and what I'm doing, and then we'll see how that goes. I promise I won't pitch. So that is the third hack that now I'm working on, that will actually then help me to position, build up the business, and also expand on more services and support to entrepreneurship. So again, guys, just be open, be open. I think Denise has already started. I think last week, Denise, you started sending emails, and I said, stop, Denise, let me craft a nice email that will also somehow provide some sort of a bribe, because everyone whom you're gonna deal with, guys, is gonna ask themselves, what is it for me? You know, so just be careful when you ask people, ask and then also give. Okay, guys?
Can I have a question?
Yes, please, Sis Adi, go ahead.
In terms of your hackathon that you are busy with, you're on level 3 already. I just wanted to double check. How do you position that research and engagement on a pan-African and global level, international level?
So at this point, I honestly believe that as much as the world has opened up for us to be able to service anyone in the world, charity begins at home. Until I own the market share of South Africa in a specific niche, I will not be looking outside of South Africa. If I do look outside of South Africa, I will look for services and products which are easy to scale. So my strategy is, we started this last year, identify SADC countries that can reproduce Essential Finance Handbook, and by changing step 3. They don't change anything, it's co-authoring. So that's the only strategy we have when it comes to outside of South Africa.
Thank you.
Thank you, sis. You always challenge me, so. Sis Zanele, do you want to say anything? Oh, she's gone. Oh, people are getting disconnected. Oh, I hope it's not load shedding. Okay. Now, yes, hello?
Esma, if I were to use a marketing research regarding student accommodation, I would target the same very students, even those that are maybe not staying with me, kind of. I want to attach my value also to my accommodation, because my contract, I don't want boyfriend and girlfriends, and though I'm providing the best accommodation, do you think that value will work bad for me? Because it's a principle that I don't know how to compromise it. I can't just think.
Yes, no. The only way to find out is to ask your student, the current students that you have. And also, if they're below 21 years old, if you have something like that, get them to be co-signed with the parent. So just do a proper market research, but also talk to the student accommodation officer within the university. Ask them, if you have that, will that be any compromises there, you know? So market research, that is why you need to talk to your customers. Okay, guys, I'm moving on. I have another question that was posed. Please, guys, put the question in there. One of the questions that was posed, I have too many notes, guys. Okay. The other question that was asked was, Precious, I don't even know where to start. I've gone through your document, and I understand what needs to be done, but I just feel a little bit overwhelmed. Who feels the same way, guys? Just say I. Who feels after they have gone through the document, they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed? Oh, guys, there is no one answering me. This group went. Guys, this is a coaching session. I'm not vomiting the books and the textbook. It's a coaching session for me to help you. Who feels that way? That after going through the session we had and also going through the material, they're feeling a bit overwhelmed. Okay, no one is answering. No one is interested. Okay, guys. I will answer this question.
Precious, you know, sorry I'm talking so much today, but I don't think it's so much about, I don't think a simple yes would sort of suffice, I think, in most instances, because I find also with some of the emerging entrepreneurs that I work with, even if you had a few sessions with them and you've given them even just a simple task to write down a 2-line on what the idea is, they still feel overwhelmed. So it's something, I think it's something that is stuck in our heads, that we sometimes feel the feeling of being overwhelmed, I think, is something that is a mindset that needs to be overcome. I don't know if I'm making sense. I find that even with my students at varsity, they just need to get past that hurdle, because sometimes that document just looks like a lot of words. Although they can read the words, they can't contextualize it for their own situation. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
You are right, sis Adi. I mean, we've had like more than hundreds of entrepreneurs, and would very, very smart, even got even a degree kind of qualification, or in other instances, even post-degree qualification, really struggling to get this. This is what I want to tell you. Remember, your sub A, or should I say your grade 0 teacher or your grade 1 teacher, how many times did they teach you 1, 2, 3? Thousands of times. Some of these concepts that we're teaching you, or some of these ideas that we're teaching you, or in the approaches, some of you, it's the first time you're hearing it. So you're gonna need to hear it over and over and start practicing. And the more you do it, obviously when you do it the first time, you're not gonna get it right. For heaven's sake, my first business plan, oh Lord, was absolutely nightmare. And I have done nothing in my life except doing business. Since I was 14 years old, I've always studied business-related courses and subjects. And my life as an adult, I'm in business. So, but I struggled. So even when I was going through the strategy, trying to simplify it for entrepreneurs, guys, I had to go through 51 frameworks, best frameworks on designing and executing strategy, 51 framework to come up with the 5. I had to test and see that doesn't work, test, that doesn't work, test that, up until the point. This product, a simplified strategy, has been a 5-year product. I applied it on myself and realized some of the tools didn't work, and then drop them and try again in the following year, same thing, and then try another one until I came to this. This is a shortened version of a strategy. I mean, on an MBA level, a strategy is almost the whole year strategy planning, because it needs a lot of things, and it needs someone who's clear. You're gonna need to sort out your mindset. You can do this. You can't be feeling overwhelmed. You are overwhelmed because you think you're supposed to be running. No, you have to crawl first before you run. You have to sit first before you can even crawl. So just pace yourself. Start with something as clear as your vision. What is my vision in 5 years, in 10 years? Based on that vision, can I physically see that every day and be reminded and be inspired by it of where I'm going, so that I don't get tangled with a lot of things that are happening? In that vision, is that the vision that really inspires me? Because sometimes we choose visions that are below what we're, and in other instances, it's visions that they don't move us. So that is why when we're running the training, we also will say something like, what is it that makes you cry? What is it that makes you angry? What is it that makes you laugh? What is it that you disappear when you do it? You don't, that thing that you do and you forget everything else in the world. Do you know what are those things? And start listing those things out. Because you see, when you're listing those things down, it allows you to see, based on these things, is that a line of where I see myself? Is my business aligned? Is it going to be doing these things that matter the most to me? Because if what you are doing is not in that bucket of the things, then you are in a wrong business. You're not going to stick with it till the end, no matter how tough it is. You're not going to keep on changing and molding yourself so that you suit the market while at the same time you fulfill yourself. Remember, the business is just a vehicle to fulfill your vision. It's not the other way around. You have to carry, you are a founder, you have to carry that vision. And you must see it from the beginning till the end. And again, ask yourself, if these are the things that make me cry, these are the things that make me laugh, these are the things that irritate me, these are the things that I appreciate, what core values support that? And we gave you more than 230 values. And we said only select 5 that are closest to the things that matter to you. Then on those core values, you ask yourself, how are we going to live those values in my business? How are we going to demonstrate it to our customers? How are we going to make sure that these values are lived by our employees? Which then help you to do what? Your code of conduct. Whereas the values also help you to do what? The customer what? Statement or service of how we're going to demonstrate those values. Then you're done with that section. And let me say this, guys, the values don't change, but the products and services may change. Be open for that, especially if you had started without really understanding what moves you. Don't start anything that doesn't move you. If you are starting something that does not move you, you're doing it for money, make sure it's a showcase business. It's like what we were discussing earlier with Paula on student accommodation. Why are we saying student accommodation for Paul? Because there's a shortage. It's about supply and demand. The supply is too little to meet the demand. So which means you're always going to be making money. And let alone, there's no collection risk. You're going to get your money. So you just need to price right, build up enough rooms, make sure you are compliant. It's a done deal. But there's very few businesses that you can get in that will give you that also. So again, just think there are risks also even within student accommodation. So I'm saying, guys, you gotta need to understand and know why and how you're gonna live your passions through your business while making money. So there is no such thing passion without profit. You see, when you are running a passion without a profit, that is actually what we call non-profit organization. And even non-profit organizations that run like that, they're not stable, they're not sustainable. They are not a going concern. So you gotta make sure it's a passion that you really care about and you can make money out of it. Guys, are there any questions, please, or addition? Sis Adi, go ahead if you wanna add anything.
You know, the current challenge that I find with some of the entrepreneurs that I try and assist on the side, it's my side gig, eh? I'm not running a non-profit organization, so I don't have to declare anything to you, Jake, just yet. Is that there is also, besides the mindset challenge and the blockage, there's also it's also almost as if they have the idea, they started working on some of the concepts, but they don't get past they don't get towards the starting point, even though they in their minds are also already convinced that this is a good product or service. And I'm just wondering, Precious, what is it that you're picking up in terms of that? Are you finding a similar thing where some entrepreneurs are stuck on idea stage for way too long and they miss the window of opportunity? And is there anything that you do to encourage them to accelerate?
So you are right, Sis Adi. I think with the fear, one of the things that stop them is the fear of failing, fear of being laughed at for having started something and failed. I think in South Africa in general, failure is just made to be such a big thing. Let me say this. You gotta need to wire your mind not to care about what any person thinks. as an entrepreneur, that's the first thing. You're gonna be so arrogant in believing in your own thoughts and ideas so much that when you talk about it, people get glued to what you stand for. Because remember, in entrepreneurship, we don't buy the products and services, we buy you. We buy whether you're convinced on the idea or not. And if you do not believe in yourself, you do not invest in yourself every day, personal development every day, in making sure that you are ready to face your own fears of failure and you deal with them. And I think this idea, it's also about just, we have low self-esteem on ourselves because we have tried so many things and things are not working. We actually lose hope before we even start. And yes, majority of entrepreneurs, they stop at idea. When they're about to do some sort of feasibility, they give up. But to me, those are people who got into entrepreneurship because they were looking for jobs. They couldn't find a job and someone said, start something. The real entrepreneur knows, I'm gonna fail 9 times and win once. Guys, you're gonna fail 9 times and win once. But when you do win, it will be because you are worth that win. So, and in most cases, we're not worth the money we're even asking for. In most cases, the ideas that we have are so great, but we are not stepping up to live up to that idea of being the person who's worth that contract. Remember this idea about 2 years ago, we had entrepreneurs that were doing quite a lot within the ICT.
Yeah.
And remember, when they were doing the pitching, what got them was what? The confidence. We believed in their ideas more than they believe in the ideas.
That is true.
You guys, and I know some people will say, arrogant entrepreneurs. No, this is not saying I know it all arrogance that I'm teaching you here. The arrogance I'm talking about is being confident that the ideas that you have are good. The solutions that you have are good. They are worth testing. But it's also being very much aware and conscious that you might hit 9 times. That is 90%, things not working out. And then only once, maybe, this might actually be a hit. But you can increase that success rate, entrepreneurs, by investing on yourself on daily basis. Every day, you put 1 hour aside to invest on yourself. How can I do things differently? How can I improve on this? This I suck. Can I find someone who has mastered this? And let me talk to them. Or let me follow them on Twitter. Let me see what they are talking about. Let me SMS them and say, you know what, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me? But you better stop sitting in a corner and pretending as though you're doing well. Because again, this idea, I think most entrepreneurs, that is what they do. They pretend as though everything is okay.
Yeah, but if you actually do the assessment, they're still on the same, they're still at the same point you last left them, eh?
Exactly.
It's really sad. It's really, I don't know what to do about that. I don't say I feel sorry for them because I know that they have the potential, but it's as if you want to, you know, those pink bunnies with the ever-ready battery. It's like you want to put the ever-ready battery in and say, move, you know, the opportunity is going to pass you by.
I promise you,
Yeah.
so sad. And then you find entrepreneurs coming back to you and say, by the way, Precious, someone has done that idea I had. I said, yeah, that's what happened. So God give you idea for a specific time. If you have not used that idea, he gives it to somebody else. Everything has timelines.
True.
Sounds Precious.
Yes,
should I grab an opportunity because it's an opportunity that is profitable, or should I grab it because it's my passion?
So
where do we draw the line?
You are not coming from a trust fund, Sis Paula. So I will say, grab the one that is profitable first. You will help yourself and others more when you are rich.
Okay, I hear you.
You see, if you have a trust fund somewhere, no worry, pursue your passion. But the passion is not going to pay for your food, is not going to pay for your family. Guys, we have sacrificed. If you were to think of what Black people went through during apartheid, even for the past 500 years, Black people have been suppressed and all that. Do you think we're supposed to be as poor as we are right now? No, guys, no. We have to sort ourselves out in terms of what we are thinking about, what do we believe in, and what do we feel? Because if we manage our beliefs, manage our thoughts, manage our feelings, there's nothing we can't conquer. Even the actions. The action will follow. I think we don't believe enough into these ideas. I don't think we don't believe in ourselves enough. I don't think also it's almost like we already know deep down in our heart that actually this will not work. Guess what? The whole universe is going to confess to that subconscious mind and the subconscious belief that yes, it will not work. And you're going to need to then build up a system of how to build a strong belief in yourself. First, surround yourself with people who are going to say, you're doing well. We care about what you do. We support you. Number two, you're going to need to actually make sure that every day you convince yourself you are the best in what you're doing because you are continuously improving. Today, you're not the same as you were yesterday. Number three, you gotta need to actually make sure that whoever is in the market, in your space, they know you exist. Because if they don't know you exist, no one will actually even notice you. Again, we're sitting in our little corners, we're afraid to sell. We're afraid to go out there and just throw ourselves and say, here is what I do. And guys, I'm saying this because I have been through this. I think.
Can I say it in a slightly different way also?
Please.
No, not a promises, Paula. I just want to say that there's this whole philosophy around the half empty and half full glass. And if you look at yourself, you need to ask yourself, are you half empty or are you half full? And it sounds like you a woman of much value, so you would probably respond, I'm half full. But if you're going to use what you have in that glass that is half full and start depleting what's in your glass right now towards a passion that doesn't also allow for an inflow, you're going to eventually find yourself totally depleted. So I think what Precious is saying is fill up to overflowing so that in your passion and desire to reach others and to help them, it's in your overflowing. It's not in your need, but it's in your overflow that you are able to give of yourself, of your time, and of your talent. Because remember, without replenishing the geyser, and it just continues to flow, allow that warm water to flow out, it's going to burn that, burn out the, what is it called? The element. The element,
yes. Or element.
The element, yes. And I think your element is really, I can hear in your passion that it's really warm and it's got things going there, but you need to just fill up more and overflow so that it's in your overflow that you give to that other passion. Because a sustained life and a life that produces more than what is just break even is a life that can give much more without feeling at the end of the day that they have been depleted. Do you know what I'm saying? So you also won't get to a point of compassion fatigue because you've given out so much and nothing is coming to you in return. I don't know if that analogy helps.
If you're not a prophet, I don't know.
She is one. And Sis Adi, you saw that with me also. 2010 up to 2014, I did the most giving. The most giving at nothing. I did so much volunteering work, gave, and then I came up with absolutely nothing. I remember sitting in your office and saying, I'm tired, I'm broke, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just running around. And guys, when is that time to give? You do give. But all I am saying, don't give so much that you come up with a deficit that you actually have to start all over, start afresh.
This is true. That's the most difficult.
Do you remember this, me crying?
Yes, you felt very alone in the world when that happened. I remember that.
And I so appreciate your support and the work that we did. And I mean, I think after that meeting, Mamumbeki from WDP gave me a contract that lasted 2 years.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, and we did some work also with Dr. Susan, with ILO, and you know, because do you know what I mean when I say surround yourself with people who believes in you, who can pull you up in the spirit, in their prayers, in their support, and also help you to connect the dots when you're unable to connect the dots. Guys, someone is gonna need to look up for you. And that is why building up networks, guys, is one of the most important things. I think as Black people, especially African children that have gone to education system, we have been taught that networks is a bribe. Networks is not the bribe. That is how white firms and other people get work, is through networks. It's through working with others so that people can see your value. They will then talk on your behalf when you're not even there. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about?
I do. Thank you so much.
Hudson, guys, I think there's Gallery A10X. Hello, please, just give me some indication that you understand what I'm talking about. Build the network and relationships, not because you want to get something, but because you know those are the people who believe in you. Because you know that you can add value in those people's lives. Because you also know that they can give you value. Don't go to relationships that you don't give value. Where if I were to ask you your smartphone, the top 10 people on your list, on your little smartphone, if those top 10 people are not aligned to your strategy and your vision, what the heck are they doing on your top 10 list? You're wasting your time then. Okay, this group today is so quiet. I'm gonna unmute people now. Guys, question, I'm unmuting everyone. You're so quiet. It's like you're not even here.
I'm going to mention that my battery is going low, so please forgive me if I get cut out.
No problem, Sis Adi. That is our coach at UJ, Sis Adelaide, who's also a lecturer and also manages quite a lot of entrepreneurship programs at UJ. Guys, Bajabulile, can you guys talk? This is not a training, it's a coaching session. So I don't understand why people will come and keep quiet. Come out. I'm asking everyone to unmute and no one is accepting my ask unmute. Anyway, I will let you go, you guys. I know some of you are very shy. Okay, guys. So what can you do to build up your beliefs? What can you do to build up the strength and the confidence? How will you build up your confidence? The first thing that you're gonna do, entrepreneurs, you're gonna need to start honoring your own word. Honor your own word, your own promises to yourselves. If you have said you're gonna do this for yourself, for example, maybe you're gonna say, I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. every day for the next whatever period, you do that. And each time when you manage that and do that, acknowledge that you have succeeded. Maybe you set up a goal or target that, you know what, I'm gonna call these 5 clients, and you do that. Acknowledge that you have done well, appreciate that you have done well. As each time you keep on convincing yourself of being an action-oriented, your confidence is gonna grow. The reason why most people struggle with confidence is because they know they have let themselves down. They know then therefore they're gonna let other people down. And that's all I can share for now. Let me go to other questions. Since you guys don't wanna talk, that's fine. It feels so lonely out here. Let's see. So the other question that came through, I'm reading. I think I did answer this one. How can I brand my marketing materials or my packaging materials? That's a question. I think we did answer this. So first of all, you brand your packaging material once you have met the minimum break-even point. So what's a minimum break-even point? A minimum break-even point is the point where your cost and your revenue are the same. If you have a product that you are producing, do not brand it when you have not met your break-even point. Rather focus on manufacturing more and get more people to buy as a white labeling so that you increase the volume. Okay, I think that's the shortest version of my answer for that. The other question was...
Precious, sorry, Precious, can you explain the reasoning for that? Because, you know, people feel that their brand represents who they are. Especially in their manufacturing, and they feel like if they don't brand it, their product might be replicated and they wouldn't have sort of gained some market share linked to the brand. So what is your reasoning around that besides the cost implication?
It's about economies of scale. In a value chain, you gotta need, at the beginning, you're gonna need to decide who you are and what you stand for. Yes, you want your brand to be known, but where do you want to be known? If you're a manufacturer, remember within the value chain, there's a manufacturer, there is a distributor, there's a retailer, and in other instances, there will even be another distributor before the custom. So you want to make sure that when you're starting, as much as, yes, you can brand, branding is more at the last bit at the customer consumption. It's not necessary on your building up in your value chain. Decide that you're gonna be a manufacturer and stick with that. You will rather have Pick and Pay buying your stuff and they are rebranding, because you must be excellent first in one value chain. And that is why you better actually not focus on branding, focus on the product itself. Sis, unmute yourself again so that we can engage.
Noted.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense, but what I do see is in these micro businesses, as an example, where people are, baking cakes and things like that. They want to get their brand out because so many people are doing it, but they obviously do have a unique product that they are putting out. But because let's say it ends up in a little small bakery or whatever, because there's so much competition, they want to have their brand distinguished.
I wouldn't, because of the economies of scale.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
It's gonna throw you off. Your aim is to have a more demand. So I will go, if I'm doing a baker, I will go to dairy companies, dairy shops. I will go to spaza shop and ask them to order the cakes for them to sell, to resell. Because my aim is to have what? Market share. You see, when you brand before you have market share, even Woolworths will steal from you.
I agree with you. I think sometimes the statement is made about the economies of scale as a reasoning, but it's not always fully articulated or explained. And I find in the South African market, our entrepreneurs is very, I don't want to sound weird now. They, what is the word I'm looking for? There's two things they don't like to do. Is they don't like to even to raise some level of income. They don't want to give away some equity so they can do that, even if it's just for a short period. They don't want to share their secrets. They don't want to come into a network of people that's doing similar things because they feel like the competition might be too tight and people might steal the ideas or their concepts and things like that. So that's also sort of a fear that needs to be overcome. And I think that is why, that's the urgency of the branding. I'm out there and that's my brand, and and they spend all that money before they even make money.
Yeah, it's a poverty mindset that says it's the pie is not big enough for everyone. And guys, the poverty mindset is entrenched in our system. Is entrenched by monopolists, is entrenched within our economies. You're gonna have to release yourself from a poverty mindset. And how you release yourself from a poverty mindset, you have to work on yourself. Believe that there's abundance. I have had clients in one of the big listed companies that we work with, that they have referred about 7 entrepreneurs who said, Precious, this big company came to me and said they want to partner with me. And I said, no. I couldn't even discuss with them because I thought they're gonna steal 1, 2, 3. Guys, people can steal ideas, but they will never execute it the way you will execute it. They will not have the passion. They will not have the strength. People will steal things that are just fluff. They will not steal you, what you stand for. They won't steal your values. They will not steal. There's so much that they will not steal. We gotta have to be open and go in any relationship with love first. You see, when you go with love, you're full. We are complete. Don't go with scarcity mindset. Don't go with poverty mindset. And I think you're right, Sis Adi. We just go in thinking there's just too much competition. In any market, there's always going to be too much competition. But how are you different from the next guy? The only difference you are to the next guy is you. But do you know what you're good at? Do you know what you stand for? People don't buy products and services. They buy what you stand for. If you want to think about some of those ideas, Google Simon, what is his name? Just type Simon and say why. I think his name is Snake or something weird named, Simon, just say why, and search for his work. He says people actually don't buy you, they buy the reason why you're doing what you're doing. And that is why you're always going to have a story behind your business. What made you start that business? Because people are attached to stories. Make sure the story is also aligned to your values. Make sure your story is also aligned to what you stand for. But also be careful of having a story that you are stuck in. Because this idea, I think that was one of my challenges, that I got stuck on my story and I didn't realize that I can also change the future. The story was just my past. I got stuck on my past.
This is true. You have control over the storyline going into the future.
I got stuck on my past of how I was raised. I got stuck on, if I don't do this, who will do this? I'm the one who has benefited from non-profit organization. Today I'm a CA. I can earn as much as I want and demand, but if I don't do it, who will? You know, and that's again, guys, you need to analyze your need to do something. Don't do anything because you will somehow, because that is guilt. That is guilt. Guys, anything that comes from a negative energy will turn up bad, no matter what it is. So, sis Paula, you keep on saying, I need to give back. Analyze, why do you feel a need to give back? Analyze, go and research, go deeper and deeper and deeper. You don't owe anybody anything except owing it to yourself to be the best you can be in anything that you are doing. So again, I carried quite a lot. And guys, I'm sharing these experiences with you because I know I've been there. And I also think I was disobedient. Prior to that, 3 years before 2010, I spoke to Umama Utandi. She died last year, from motel construction. I was with her at the Playhouse Company. I was a chairperson of the audit committee there 2007, and she was one of the audit committee members, but also board members. So we used to travel together to Johannesburg in the same flight, and we'll sit at the airport and chit, and just on that day, we basically are spending the whole day together. And I then shared my story and what I want to do. And she said to me, you know, Ngwana, my baby, I love you. Sort yourself first before you sort others. You know, I ignored her. I judged her. I took that advice and said, oh, what's this time? You know, those who know her, she was all that, you know, like dressed all up, you know, the suits with names and stuff. Oh, you know, Joburg people. Because at that time I was in KZN and also in Joburg. I was like, Joburg people band. Yes, you know, they don't see these things. I took that advice and then threw it back to her. And then I only got to understand it really understood it, I think 2015, and I met her in 2017 or 17, 16 in another event. And I said to her, you know, you advised me in 2007 and I didn't take your advice. And this is what had happened to me. She couldn't help laughing. So I hope me sharing my story, you're gonna need to start really analyzing the things that you are doing. And this, guys, even relates to the things like people who will say, hey, I've got a black tax, me now, this is what I have to do, da, da, da. It relates to everything. For you to save your family, you're gonna need to save yourself first. For you to pull up someone who is in a swimming pool You first have to know that you can swim and be confident that you can swim. Because if you don't know that, I promise you, you will actually drown with that person, even yourself. Pull the person when you are outside of the pool. If you are outside, and if you are inside, you rather get yourself out first of the pool, then pull the person. Not unless you know how to swim. And this is the same thing with money. Gotta help other people with money when you can manage and run your money properly before you can actually now start helping others. You gotta have to be okay and then help others. And I didn't hear her. I didn't hear her. She was laughing at me and say, that's a point, my child. You're gonna get the lesson at the right time, at the right place. But sometimes the pain for me was so bad. I mean, as I was saying, I was sitting in Sis Adelaide's office crying my eyes out. At that time, I had not realized that I was advised years back on the same issue. So really watch out when you have a feeling and a need to do something for your community when you yourself are not okay. Okay, guys.
Can I add a point to that? I think we just need to contextualize it also. I think it's important for leaders, whether they be business leaders or community leaders or leaders in their home, to realize the difference between selfishness and self-awareness. There's a very big difference. You know, you can tip to the point where you become selfish. Self-centered, considering these points if you are not a well-balanced person. And when I speak about well-balanced, I speak about not only your profitability levels, but I speak about how full you are in terms of your relation to people, your heart set, your mindset, your emotions, and all of that. You need to be really well balanced, be self-aware. And that's very different to being selfish, because when you're selfish, you hold onto everything. You're not willing to share, you're not willing to collaborate, you're not willing to network, you're not willing to see the need of others, you're not willing to have empathy. But when you're self-aware, you know who you are, you know your limits, you know the expectations you have as an individual, and you're able to give value from that first before you start giving in terms of monetary value. Because monetary value and monies that you can give and material stuff you can give to others is limited, you know, it's finite. Let's be honest about that. But if you as a person can add value to your people in your area of influence, then that it far surpasses, you know, anything material. So just to bring that into context, when you become self-aware, you're able to manage those relationships, you're able to manage those decisions, you're able to make good judgment calls, you are able to look into the future and say, will this benefit myself and this person in the future? Will it add value to our relationship? Or if something goes pear-shaped, is it going to break our relationship? Is our relationship strong enough for us to go into this very serious agreement and stuff like that? So I just wanted to bring that into context, because sometimes when we go through this journey, Precious, we find that sometimes we have to look in and deep before we can look out and wide, you know, and to be able to add value to people and to the market and to the economy and to everything at large.
Indeed. That insight, because what is within yourself will always produce the result. Sometimes you are right, we're focusing so much on the result, but we are not looking at the inside, whereas it's the inside that produces the result. Thank you so much, Sis Adi, for that. Guys, there was another question. I think this person is already quite far.
Sorry, Precious. Can I come in?
Yes. Hi, Bajabli.
I'm just. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Go ahead.
I'm good. I'm just looking at what you said here, but I should think the socialization and our socialization and scripting is what messes everything, because we tend to bring these things into the businesses, and when we get into partnerships, then we come with expectations. Usis Ed has just talked about ourselves having to differentiate between selfishness and self-awareness. But whether it's selfishness or self-awareness, but it also impacts on our esteem as well. You get into the boardroom. There's quite a number of business people there. You don't articulate what you want to articulate because you feel that what I'm standing for, you just don't believe in what you are standing for. I'm just reminded of the meeting that I had last week somewhere in town, where there were various investors. I came with a concept. I just said whatever I needed to say. But somewhere in the midst of the conversation, one asked, have you looked into agriculture? It was after the meeting that I realized that the great chunk of the pie is with this agriculture person. His interest is in agriculture, which I did not come into the meeting with. So it gave me an idea that when entering into these meetings, into these boardrooms, we need to be able to think on our feet and be very diverse and dynamic at the same time. So I'm glad for these coaching sessions. Really, they're helping us a lot because they're bringing awareness to us, because seemingly we are narrow-minded in a way. When having an opportunity, you just miss the opportunity because you just did not think fast. Yeah, that's what happened to me. Yeah. I just realized after the meeting was over, man, I missed the point here. Okay, thank you so much. That's what I wanted to share.
Thank you so much for sharing. Sis, do you want
Thank you. No, I'm fine. I can totally identify with what you're saying, because at the end of the day, our socialization informs how we respond to our environment. And that is something that we need to work on a daily basis, as you were explaining, Precious, previously, that we need to work on ourselves on a daily basis, because if we know that that is going to become a limitation, we need to be very aware of it, and be able to work out a strategy for ourselves, whether it be in the boardroom or whether it be on our shop floor or whether it be in a networking session, how we will deal with that, limitation.
It's almost like you're going to need, for every weakness, do some sort of a self-assessment of your own weaknesses. And in each weakness, work out a strategy that will have, or strategies that are like your toolbox. So one of my things that I had before was that I will feel so uncomfortable and insecure when maybe I'm in a boardroom with full male, white males. For some reason, I will just get like disempowered, like just quiet. I don't know what happened. And I think in most cases, when I analyze it, I was feeling intimidated. But when I started doing the coaching in speaking, where they will give you ideas like imagine them naked. I mean, something as simple as that.
That's very naughty.
I know. And then there, I was just not mind. And I think also when I was meeting other professionals, and maybe I was a speaker or something, I will feel that my English is not model C. So then maybe I'm gonna pronounce a word incorrect and they're gonna start asking, is this really a CA? I mean, guys, I think the devil will play on our weaknesses and take over our lives so that we don't live to the best that we can be. We're not living to our best selves, because we're having a fear to face this weakness head on. And guys, I think one of the things that have helped me with that has been to travel. I remember the other time we were at the UN and speaking to different people, and we're going through some meetings and stuff. And this lady, her English was so bad. We basically also had a translator, but she still communicated and tried also to come up with the word. And she will say the word in France, and then she will repeat it and say, hey, what's the word? Because even though she's an English speaking, her first language, what comes first in her brain will be her mother language. So why was I afraid when I'm explaining things to someone when it comes in isiZulu? I should actually feel ashamed. You know, I mean, for a very long time, I remember DJ Sbu had opportunity at CBN. He was doing CNCB, what? NCBC, where he was doing a show, and there was a plot for someone to come and run and host and work with him on other shows relating to entrepreneurship. And he thought and believed that I actually have that capability. Do you know I never took up on that opportunity? Because I was afraid that this thing is gonna be live, for heaven's sake. My Zulu English. You know, can you imagine the lives I would have impacted if I actually just lived up to that and got maybe a coach, or got my confidence up, and also be comfortable that yes, my Zulu English will come first, and that's okay because the content was targeted to who? To South African market. So what? I think we're gonna need to relook at our weaknesses and face them. Face those, because from those weaknesses, our fears are also entangled in them, and work through them. And not be afraid to face. There are ones that you can correct. There's ones that you cannot correct, that you can accept. But you're gonna need to own up to it and be fine with it. I mean, these days, frankly, I don't even care. If my Zulu English came first, then the English word, even if I'm at the boardroom, for heaven's sake, I don't care. I know my stuff. I know what I'm doing, and that's enough. But I had got that confidence that I know what I'm doing. I know enough because I've invested on myself consistently. Okay, guys, I'm moving on to another question. Is that okay? Is anyone who wants to add? Is anyone who wants to share? It seems like we're the only one who are sharing. Come on, guys.
You are boosting my ego. Next week, I've got an international meeting with guys from UK. So I'm just working on the strategy. Starting it all over again, demolition, whatever I've started, because I wanted something perfect. Now that you're saying, as long as I know my story, then I need to get onto it.
And
thank you so much.
It shouldn't be perfect, sis. You're not going to get it right. They themselves never got it right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, guys, there's another question. Another question that was said with the entrepreneurs were saying that, Precious, I do set the goals, but I generally do not achieve these goals, even when they're part of my strategy. They're saying basically, I generally will set, this is my strategy, this is my plan, but I don't generate them. The sad part, that person is not here today, but I will still answer them. The reason why you don't achieve your goals, and you also then will not your strategy are not, it's because you are not executing the strategy. You are not actioning it. And when you fail in action, you change the goal instead of changing the strategy. Okay, let me explain it in literal terms. Maybe let's say your goal is going to Durban. I'm going to the beach to Durban. Your strategy was, I am going to take a plane, for example, instead of what? Driving, walking, or taking a bus or taking a taxi, right? You could have taken those options, but you chose, you know what? Because I want to get to Durban quicker and faster, within 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm going to be in Durban if I'm flying. But if I'm driving, another 5 to 6 hours. If I'm walking, maybe a few days, right? When the plan of taking the plane does not work, you drop the goal. You don't change your strategy and say, what is it that I didn't know when I was doing my planning that now I know for having tried to take the plane? Maybe I didn't realize that actually taking the plane is going to be expensive, or possible maybe it's not going to work because I will need to be fetched by someone once I'm at the airport. I didn't consider that the cost was higher. Yes, I'm going to get there quicker, but the cost is likely going to be higher. So all these things, you have to ask yourself, what is it that I didn't know about this thing that I now know? And how can that improve and help me to come up with another strategy? Guys, you never change your goals. You never change your destination, but you change strategies. And then the other thing that you also, generally people who find themselves, they don't look for people who have achieved the goal that they want to achieve. They don't look for the people who have mastered that goal, people who have demonstrated that goal. They don't look for those people. Because when you do that, you then learn from that person. You let that person help you to redefine and rework on your strategy. The last thing that you don't do that makes you not to achieve your goal, you have no accountability. You see, within your goal, there is a little milestones that you should be setting, which are going to tell you how far are you. So if you have said, I will take a plane, the first thing you're going to do is to say what? I'm going to check which courier a flight or which company can take me. Is it going to be British Airways, South African Airways? Is it going to be Mango or whatever? And how much are the prices? What times? Which tickets are cheaper if you actually have a restriction, a limited budget? And then after you have done that, you then work out a list. Okay, the luggage that I have, how big is it? If it's bigger than the required more than a percentage of some sort, then you need to account for what? The extra luggage. And then you will say, okay, so first thing I do, I've done with that step. The outcome of that step is what? Book the ticket and pay for it. That is milestone. Then again, you move to the next step. Okay, I now need to do what? I need to make sure that I actually have a car that's going to take me from this point to the next point. Okay, do I have a car that's going to take me from my house to the airport? Or do you understand? It must be built on the milestone. And the milestone is also going to tell you, are you getting closer or you getting far away from your destination? So it's the same thing with your goals. If you are not putting the milestone and you are not doing things progressively towards your goal, you think this success is going to just come because you have put it on your goals. Nothing is going to happen. One of the books that I shared with you previously about Jack Canfield, he says, do 5 things towards one important goal of yours every day until you achieve it. I mean, he has sold multi-billionaire on books. He wrote the book Chicken Soup for the Soul. The the book that I shared with you, The Success Principle, which is Getting What You Want, is on 10th edition, with stories of people that have tried some of these principles and worked on them and can demonstrate the results. You gotta need to work towards your goal. When things don't go as planned, do not change the goal, change the strategy. Find the person who will coach you and mentor you to help you through. Start monitoring what that person has done, but make sure you get someone who has demonstrated that they have achieved the goal you want, not just some Tom and Dick and Harry on the street. And lastly, be accountable. Be accountable by making sure that this goal that you have and this vision of what you want to achieve lives with you every day. You're gonna need to deserve it. You're gonna need to be worth it to achieve it. Okay, guys, I see there's a comment. Doing something that you're not passionate about is a killer for me, but at least now I know again, self-awareness. That is wonderful.
Precious.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, guys, is anyone who wants to chat, throw in some question or follow up, or share their experiences on what we've discussed so far? Okay, shy people, shy. Okay, I'm gonna go on another one. The other one was, okay, so this other one, they basically are saying, Precious, I know you have said the business grow in 2 ways or get successful in 2 ways. One, you employ people that are smarter than you, that are gonna produce these widgets or service or product cheaper than what you're selling to your customer. Number 2, you use other people's money. But Precious, I'm stuck because according to this person who was asking the question, right now my business is not at the place for me to be able to afford. So therefore I'm stuck. For the past 3 years, I'm stuck in working and creating self-employment for myself, basically. How do I get out? What should be my strategy to get out? I think most of us as entrepreneurs who are stuck, especially professionals or the experts, the so-called expert. Guys, those who are stuck on that, please read this book, Michael Gerber. I've shared Michael Gerber, E-Myth. Read E-Myth. That's the book you should read. That book is going to give you ideas of how to get yourself out of being self-employed or employed by a lunatic to being a business owner. Also, look at what this guy, what is his name? Let me Google him. Give me a second. I'm going to Google him. I'm going to Google him just now. He's a Korean guy. Oh, I forgot his name, and I like him. Don't know how I forgot. Is anyone who want to say something? Guys, please unmute yourself. Okay, no one wants to say anything.
That's Precious.
Hello.
I know that for someone to grow, you need to read, and you have been recommending quite a number of books. Sure, I don't know as to whether it's, I just don't get, is it the devil stealing from me? I just don't get the commitment to read, you know?
The guy's
What do I say?
name is
And
Robert
not
Kiyosaki.
because,
The guy's name is
not
Robert
because,
Kiyosaki. 1 second,
oh, yeah.
Sis Paula. Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book which is called Cash Flow, where he's explaining this. Let me share this. 1 second, Sis Paula. I'm going to come back to you.
Okay.
Where he shares this. I'm sharing this, guys. He shares this. You see, you are employed by someone, you exchange your time and your effort for an income. When you don't work, you don't get paid. Okay, maybe there's some exception in South Africa. People get paid even when they don't work. But anyway, in real world, you don't work, you don't get paid. And then he says, then there's another block of people that are stuck on self-employment. They work for themselves, but can take 6-week holidays and your business keep going. And in self-employed, they can't even take the holiday. And they can't even keep the business going. The business cannot exist without them.
Mm.
And most of you are stuck there. Guys, I'm getting out of that block. I'm getting out so fast, I cannot believe finally I'm out. The aim is for you to move yourself from being self-employed to being what? A business owner, where the money is working for you, than to being an investor. How would you do that? Let me show you. Oh, I'm running out of time today. I'm showing, I just want to find the, oh no, where is it? Guys, I am looking for, there we go, got it. How do you move yourself from that quadrant of being self-employed where, God forbid, something happens to you, that's the end of that business? How do you build yourself? I promise you guys, this is the last course I'm doing. The best way to do that, number one, is to build assets. Because assets produces what? Income. And the income is used to do what? For you to spend, you must actually have earned it. So you spend the money in here. You must pay Tom for delivering 100 Rand, but while you are paying with Tom 25 Rand or 50 Rand. And you move here, you finance that expense by debt. In that debt, you make sure you use other people's money, not your equity, not this one. You use other people's money. And you actually make sure that debt also fund that asset. Guys, that is how you will get successful. Majority of you cannot even get funded because you are not generating enough revenue because you don't have enough assets. But your books are in such a mess that you're showing profit here, but in real terms, it's actually a loss because your records are a mess. Some of the things are in your handbag, in the slip, in the plastic, your bank account, your business bank account has cash withdrawals, your business account is mixed up with your personal account. And no wonder every year funders complain and say, here's funds, no one has applied. Right now, 90% of the COVID funding has funded white firms, not us. That was released a week ago. When they've done the analysis, they're covered. 90% of COVID funding is to the white firms, not black firms, because you guys are not serious about running these businesses. You're saying you're a business person, but you don't even know what it takes to be a business person. And I'm telling you right now, this is what it takes. This side is your net worth. For you to increase your net worth, you're gonna need to increase what? The assets. You're gonna need to increase what? The income. And you're gonna need to keep this low. Always expenses low. No entrepreneurs, the day they get a tender, they will buy a car at tender one. The things we have seen. The things, guys, this is your balance sheet. This is your income statement, which is your performance, and this is your balance sheet, and that's your financial statements. Guys, this is the only way we measure the performance of the business. When we measure the performance of the business, we can see you're worth investing in. But you must have built something. You must show the profit. You must show that you can actually get 100 Rand and turn it to 200 Rand. You must show that all your assets are fully being utilized. I hope that makes sense. Joshua is saying, that's wisdom, precious. Oh, it's Robert Kiyosaki. And then he book his cash flow. And then I will deal with you just now, sis Paula, your question. And then there was another one. It's Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek. That's a guy. You can just listen to him on YouTube. Okay. Sis Paula, let me put it this way. There are things in my life that I'm supposed to do that I don't do. And the reason why, in most cases, I don't do those things that I know they are good for me, that they are worth for me, is because the pain of not achieving that goal is still not bigger than the pleasure of me not doing it. Sis Paula, did
repeat the pain part?
Did you hear what I'm saying?
Please repeat that.
Okay. There are things as human beings that we don't do. And for me, the things that I don't do, that I know they're good for me, that I don't do, it's because the benefit of not doing it is bigger than the pain of not actually doing it, the result. So let me make an example. I wanted to lose weight for a very long time. And I kept on postponing this, that, whatever reasons I gave myself. I then started analyzing what is making me most unhappy about my life. And being overweight was number one. I then took that and did a mind map of it and say, if I keep this going, I'm now on 90 kg. If I keep this going, what will happen to me? What will happen to my children? What will happen to my family? What will happen to my friends? What will happen to everything that I've built? So I took this thing, this problem, I made it bigger. So your aim is, if you want to really solve this problem, is to look at the consequence of not doing it. You're going to repeat the same mistake because you are not willing to learn. How painful is it to fail again when you have already been told what to do? And make that, what will that mean when you are speaking on the ground? When you are speaking in front of people, what will you be teaching them if your own cup is half empty? You're going to be those pastors or people that talk the talk the Sunday afternoon after they have stood up in the pulpit. the videos going around showing them the stuff they were teaching in the pulpit versus what they were doing in their private lives. I think as leaders, we're going to need to start owning up to what we stand for. And you must also understand, Mampola, the sin of disobedience, especially on these platforms that the connectivity that you have made with us. The way we teach, we awake your consciousness. So already you're feeling guilty that you have not done the things. Guess what?
Exactly.
That put more burden. Because our aim is to change your life. But for us to change your life, we're going to need to change you. We're going to need you to give tools and help you to feel. You might not need to read. I don't read as much as I used to, but I do audios. I do audios to teach and repeat things. I then make quotes for myself that for that day, that's my favorite quote. So next to my Bible quote, there's a quote that is also motivating me for that day. So there's different modes. You can also go to executive summaries. Instead of reading the whole book, go to summaries. What is the summary? Who has reviewed that book? Okay, I just want to get the key points. Okay, and guys, on YouTube, there are people who analyze books after books. Some, they will take 20 minutes. Some will take the full 2 hours analyzing one book. No, there is no excuse. The benefit of not doing is just bigger than the consequence. So then sit down and analyze the consequence of you not doing this. Build it up, analyze it, build it up. That is how, make it bigger than it is. I mean, it's almost like the same tools we get taught by Mind Power. Guys, have you attended Mind Power? You should. Oh, you guys. The trainings I have done. Mind Power by Robin Banks. So Robin Banks, you can Google him again. He teaches you a technique that when you have a fear about something, or maybe your mind is starting to tell you, you're not good enough, you don't deserve this, you can't do this, all this, you know, the voices that come to our heads to tell us and talk to us and tell us the things that we think or believe is just, you know, all these things that come to us. He says, for example, maybe it says you're supposed to do maybe something like a dinner for maybe an important client, or you're gonna meet with them, and then you are thinking, what if I mess up? You know, but Jabulil, you think, oh Lord, what if I mess up? Oh, and then he says, yes, what if I mess up so bad that the whole thing just falls apart? So it's like you're thinking the food will get burned, or because you're preparing the supper, or you're meeting this investor and all your stuff is just not talking to the slide, and the slide does not talk to what you're saying. You work out the worst case scenario. From that worst case scenario, you then say, what can I do to prevent that worst case scenario? So you start building up the tools to empower yourself. So that is what I will actually share with you, that some of the times or some of the ways you can do that is whatever fear or issue that you are running away from, or you are not doing it, just consider doing that. It might help. It might just help you to twist your mindset and your thoughts. Because guys, the reason sometimes some of the things feel so daunting is because our mind make them to be bigger than they are. When you go through it, you actually enjoy it. You actually love it. We are our worst enemy. And we also talk ourselves out of things, and we don't like doing new things. We want to do the same old, and then we expect different results. Mama, Paula, I met you 2 years ago, NEF training. I told you certain things that you need to work on, and that has helped you. And now just take it as a verse. It shall be done. It will be done.
Amen.
It is done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Is anyone who want to say anything? We're about to close. Sis Ad, I'm glad your battery didn't go off.
This is called positioning, when you position yourself where you can charge the cell phone battery. But thank you so much for allowing me to be part of the session. Thank you.
And you're
for
always
everything.
welcome.
And all the best to the entrepreneurs online.
Thank you. Let us know when there's opportunities. I know you guys are having few funding initiatives, but as we always say, we want entrepreneurs that are gonna go all 100% in. And I think we have those guys in here. These guys have been coming on these sessions like religiously, you know, and sending through their questions. We really got quite a few people that are really committed. And we're gonna continue with the program. We move with those who are moving. We move with those who want action. We move with the ones that are saying, my life will never be the same and it's gonna start with me. For me to produce the result I have, I'm gonna have to change myself.
Adelaide, thank you for the contribution that you have made. Today
so welcome.
Was for me. Yeah, thank you so much.
Guys, you get most value when you send questions. We always allow Sis Paula to talk because she sends questions. She's like, I want to milk like everything out of this, then she will get the most benefit. It's like a student that prepares before the lecture and prepares for the exams and prepares for what? And expect to pass. It's the same thing. Guys, how you do one thing in your life is how you do everything. Just remember that. Thank you so much. Oh, there's someone who's posting a question. Sorry, I missed. Katle, is it viable to get an accountant to do your financial statements or use a software like QuickBooks as a small business owner? Can you please unmute yourself? Hello? The person, Katlego, you asked the question, please unmute yourself. Unless I'm good, thank you.
I'm good, yeah.
I think, Katlego, first of all, you gotta need to attend. Denise or Bonolo, please add in the shareholder or director compliance. You're gonna need to read your Companies Act.
Okay.
You don't have the qualifications that sign off on the financial statements. The financial statements must be signed by a person who's qualified to sign them off. As an accounting officer, as an auditor, whatever that you have put on your MOI or based on the public interest scope or points. Okay. The accounting is not necessarily the same as the software per se. You see, the accounting software or the software program like QuickBooks Zero and all that, all it does, it records the entries. The accountant needs to summarize that to prepare the financial statements. And for them to prepare the financial statements, they're gonna use the standards, they're gonna use Companies Act requirements, and that is how you will then be able to manage. If you decide that you actually wanna reduce the cost of paying the accountant, have the software, but also understand the softwares, most of them, the way they're designed for accountants. So which means teach yourself how book entry works, how debit and credit works. Personally, I'm of a view, the entrepreneur should not be worried about book entries. They should be focusing on a bigger picture, not on how debit credit goes where and how. That is not your incubator. You don't even, guys, you have other 15 functions. Actually, even finance is part of that you need to deal with. Bookkeeping is a small portion of it. What you should be looking at, I don't know, do you have my book, The Essential Finance Handbook?
No, I don't.
Then you are not my client, but you have been attending these sessions, haven't you?
Yes.
How is that possible? Did you send us your BE certificate?
Yes, I did.
That is very strange. You should have received, I don't know, I think, Bonolo, please come in and assist us. You did attend compliance, didn't you? Or did you attend, set the goals and achieve them?
Yeah, I only attended the second session that was hosted, I think 2 weeks ago, on the 25th of August.
Okay. Yeah, let me Dennis, please take his name. Send to Dennis your email address privately on the chat, so that we can search, because you should have then had our ebook, and also you can also go through success finance success program, and you will see these things that I'm talking about. What you should be doing, you can buy yourself a software, but buy a software that is easier for you to manage. And for me, the system that is the easiest for entrepreneurs who do not have a finance background or bookkeeping or accounting is Xero. If you need support with that, that's a software. I can create a demo for you and send you some trainings that I've done for my clients. Number 2, create a system for managing your records, your invoices, your suppliers, your receipts, how you're paying. Once you have sorted that, you will then be able to have proper records. Once a year or every 6 months, get your accountant, pay them based on the hours to review your records so that they can then change. So you invite them to the system so that they can then review and check and sign off on your books. And that's it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Maybe one day I should cover this thing about accounting and finance. I thought I've already done that, but let me find time to see if I can't actually do it more. Please, Denise, have you taken his details? Denise, have you taken up his details?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
This session of this brother is very key. If somehow you can find grace to just summarize it, it's very key to businesses.
You mean the one about finance and
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, accounting system, how the recording and accountability to finance, and yes, ma'am.
Okay. No problem. We have run out of time for today. Can I then promise you guys our next session next week? We will have a session next week. I don't know. But Dennis, can you confirm, double check the diary? I will just cover finance, what finance is about. But guys, I need you to read step 4 on the book. Step 4 on the Essential Finance Handbook. I will also share the article, and when you come and attend, ask the questions that are relevant to that aspect. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, is that going to be fine for you? Joshua, yeah, okay, but the person who asked the question is quiet now.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, so next week I will run, it's not going to be 2 hours like generally, it's really like 1 hour, because I will share the article with you first, and then we will then go and discuss that article in detail. What we're going to be covering, we're going to cover what is finance about. From finance, understanding how finance is influenced by economics. We will also talk about how economics is also influenced by business economics. We will then also talk about how that all of those things affect our what? Corporate finance, how it affects financial management, how it affects accounting, how it affects bookkeeping, so that you can see where you should be playing your role as an entrepreneur and how to build yourself. Good or good?
Thank you.
Yeah, good, good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
Thank you, guys. We will email you, we will send you the link. Please also go to our YouTube and like and put the notification so that when we are loading the content, you get notified. Remember, you have to listen to it over and over. As you listen, stop it and go and implement ideas. Don't wait until the end. Guys, action will give you results. Listening and just sitting here enjoying this is good. We appreciate that you're here. But I would rather have 2 people or 1 person if that person is going to implement. Are you with me?
Yes,
Can I have
yes.
a commitment all rounder that you're going to implement at least 5 ideas that we spoke about today?
Yes.
Or am
Yeah,
I
yeah.
expecting too much? Ni standard grade. I'm putting.
Standard grade.
I don't work with people that standard grade. I never did the standard grade at school and me. I want a higher grade. Okay. I want real entrepreneurs that will say, no matter what,
Yeah, Sizozama sis will try.
I'm gonna push through. And guys, you have direct contact when you start. SMS me. I don't promise I will respond, but I will always make sure that my team comes back to you and I also come back to you. Rather post also your things and issues on the group, because guys, on the group, I have coaches. Adelaide that you were listening to today is also on the group. I have about 6 to 10 coaches that have more than 20 years in entrepreneurship. You guys are not using these platforms. The resources are out there. The support is out there. But you're sitting in your little corner and failing and blaming the government, blaming the system, and blaming the apartheid. No more. Do you hear me? Start looking at yourself. What is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm not doing? And soon I'm going to be calling you guys and I'm going to be following up on you. And Mina, I don't waste my resources on people that do not want to follow through with action. I'm a Mama Action. I'm the originator of Mama Action. Okay, guys. And guys, I also have other opportunities. I was speaking to Smart Procurement. Guys, there's so much opportunities that are coming. We're profiling entrepreneurs that are looking for access to market. I'm working with BP, ABSA, and other clients. So I'm just Mondelez and. So guys, I'm just so excited. But I don't want to bring people that don't follow through. I don't want to bring people that are not going to really push through, that are doing this because it's their leisure time, it's their hobby. No more hobbies. This is real.
I like that. Thank you
I
for being
Thank you so much, guys. I love you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Love you.
Thank you.
Bye.